running a free vote taxi program. We will come pick you up at your house, drop you off wherever you want.
And people at the bus stop, I asked them if they're registered to vote. And if they weren't, I said, get in the car, I'm bringing you.
They picked me up, they seen me walking around and stuff, so they said, hey, man, you want to vote? I said, yeah, I'll vote. He said, man, I'll take you anywhere you want. I said, that's cool.
Are you encouraging them to vote for Obama?
Oh, yes, really, I am. It's like your brother right there.
You tell them to vote for Obama?
Yes, for Obama, yes.
Barack, I mean, I want him to do his thing, you know what I mean? Do his thizzle, you know.
You're listening to the Laura Ingraham Show. They're about to steal this election. And does anyone have any doubt that what's going on in Ohio right now is a lot of phony baloney stuff? You're driving people to the polls from homeless shelters and soup kitchens, drug rehab centers, and they register to vote, and then they vote all in one trip without having to show any residency requirements. And if you're someone who believes in monitoring all of this, like, you know, any election monitors make sure that things are being done properly, then they'll bar the election monitors from actually observing any of this. You're listening to the Laura Ingraham Show as we ramp up to the election day where Barack Obama is still ahead in most national polls, but John McCain looks like now he's mad and wants to campaign and win this thing. So we're all for John McCain getting mad at the right people. That means the left and what they're going to try to do to this country. Joining us now is Ken Blackwell. He's the former Ohio Secretary of State, and he's been writing about this attempt to, I think, steal this election in Ohio. And Ken, it's great to have you on.
Laura, good to be with you.
Tell us about your reaction to this this concern, the voter fraud chaos, as you wrote about it, driving people to the polls, have no idea whether they're actually residents of the state of Ohio or not, and observers are being turned away.
Well, voter fraud is the worst crime against democracy. We live in a democracy where every legal voter gets an equal vote. So anytime you allow for an illegal vote to be cast, you cancel out a legal vote. So I think that we owe it to our citizens and the integrity of our system to make sure that we are rooting out voter fraud. Well, you don't do that by letting the fox guard the hen house, and that's exactly what is going on in Ohio when you have a discredited organization like ACORN running a grassroots operation in part funded by Barack Obama. I think all of the federal records would show that at minimum the Obama campaign has channeled about $800,000 to ACORN's Get Out the Vote operation. As I've said on a number of occasions, Barack Obama ran Project Vote, which is an arm of ACORN in his, quote, community organizers days. Now, I think that there is a curious alliance that people really have to take a look at to appreciate the threat that's posed by this organization. One is Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals. Obama was trained in that philosophy and that community organizing methodology. Two, he trained and promulgated the philosophy of Alinsky when he was affiliated with ACORN. You look at that and relate it back to Bill Ayers, who was a known anarchist. You begin to appreciate that these are not just loose associations; they are alliances that matter and that could have an impact on our election coming up this November 4th.
Well, I think that the media, for the most part, they've done a brilliant job on behalf of Barack Obama in sweeping this under the rug and by minimizing any influence that Ayers might have had on Obama. Oh, I was 8 years old when the bombings took place, and he's condemned those acts as detestable, and it's not like he's getting campaign advice from from Bill Ayers. I mean, come on, people. This is, our economy's collapsing, and you're talking about some old 60s radical. Andrea Mitchell described him as a 60s radical on the Today Show the other day, which to me didn't quite capture what Ayers was then and what he certainly is now, which is this is Marxist stuff. This isn't leftist. This is Marxist.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to remember that an objective of Alinsky, an objective of ACORN, and I would say by association, an objective of Barack Obama, and that is the disruption of our institutions, the free market system, and the rule of law. I mean, that's the first step towards creation of the socialist society that Alinsky sought. Now, all you have to do is to go back right after, and Brad O'Leary does a good job of documenting this, but right after the DNC convention, Saul Alinsky's son, David, wrote, quote, Barack Obama's training in Chicago by the great community organizers is showing his effectiveness. I am proud that my father's motto for organizing is being applied successfully beyond local community organizing to affect the Democratic campaign in 2008, close quote.
Well, I love the fact, Ken, that Hugo Chavez speaks fondly of Bill Ayers on, one of the big Venezuelan websites. Apparently, Chavez thinks that Bill Ayers is a revolutionary thinker and a leader of important ideas in the United States. So there you have it.
Well, I tell you, I mean, again, I think this alliance, this link of historical figures, philosophy, and political objective in 2008 deserves the light of day. There's an old biblical saying, those who want to do evil love the darkness. And I would tell you that it's taken the light being shined by you and others in talk radio, some outside of the mainstream media, that has put the spotlight on these acts and these rogue characters and organizations that I think people will respond to in the next 29, 30 days.
Well, to me, Ken, if we don't talk about this now and we don't expose this now, then we don't have much in the way of credibility in raising concerns and complaints about this after the election. And John Fund has written about this now for some time, that this voter fraud issue is pervasive. It is concerning that you have these groups that are driving people to the polls. They don't even care if these people are true citizens of Ohio or New Mexico or whatever state this is happening. They just want another vote for Obama on the books. That's the only thing they care about.
Absolutely. And I guess the other thing that the light that we're shining exposes is the duplicity of Senator Obama. We must underscore that this guy won his first election by hiring a person that was expert in disqualifying signatories of petitions of his opposition. So at that time, he thought it was very important, if it meant the destruction of a competitive field, he thought it was very important that you have some way of discerning actual voters, qualified voters, for those who are not qualified, and for those who have been made up out of thin air. But now he is a big defender. He is a big funder. He is a big promoter. He has the supreme community organizer of ACORN, a totally rogue left-wing organization that has been riddled with fraud, riddled with not only indictments, but convictions of many of its members. But it is a real, serious, present danger to the quality of our democracy. And we just cannot sit back on the sidelines, wring our hands, and say, oh, well. We must respond. We must demand that bipartisan teams or allowed to observe in a very transparent way every aspect of this process.
Well, where are the people of Ohio on this, Ken? Where are they? I mean, the citizens of Ohio. We have lots of listeners across Ohio. This is their state. And
they're starting to speak up. If you look at the infrastructure that the DNC and Team Obama had established for Ohio in this 5-day window that was created, that allowed for folks to register and vote at the same time, what they plan to do is to have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of voters on the rolls this way. The fact that you and others, and John Funn and Brad O'Leary and others have raised questions about the process, I mean, it has started to awake a sleeping giant. I mean, nobody wants our democracy impugned and...
Yeah, well, I don't think so either, Ken, but I hope John McCain mentions this. He should go right at this issue tonight at this town hall. He needs to red flag it right now, and he needs to make this an issue.
This is about character and competence. We cannot shortchange the character side of the equation.
So you think McCain should make this an issue in this town hall tonight?
He should make the issue because ACORN is at the heart, Alinsky is at the heart of some of the problems, the housing problems in this country.
Yeah. Social engineering and socialism both together. Ken Blackwell, former Ohio Secretary of State, we appreciate your continuing to emphasize this issue of voter fraud. We've got to expose this, and the people of Ohio have got to revolt, be in a revolt against this. It's up to you. This is your state. And you don't want it to be. Yeah, they don't want it to become a laughing stock. I would hope they don't want it to become an electoral laughing stock. And Ken, we appreciate it. Come back soon.
I will do that.